Hi everyone, I'm here with Jim and Nathan, and we're going to talk about some more DMs that recently popped up.
Hey everyone, I'm Ethan Van Sciver, Comic Artist Pro Secrets here on YouTube, and it's nice to be among you guys, you gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be in your company.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm Mundane Matt, the most red-pilled motherfucker on the internet. It's nice to be here. I plan to drop some red pills left and right. That's what I do.
Well, you have a crystal ball. I think you stole it from me last stream because your
Oh, did
video,
I?
yes, your video looked into the future, and the J theory seems to work.
Well, I find that kind of ironic. I mean, how do you steal something from a gypsy? Isn't that kind of your area of expertise?
It seems, you might be a gypsy because you're anonymous. Maybe this is why Karen is out to get you.
I don't know. I don't own like a pipe organ or what's that instrument you squeeze with a little monkey that dances? What am I thinking of?
Accordion.
Accordion. Yeah.
There we go. I blanked on it completely. Pipe organ. No, I don't think you're hauling that around with you on the streets.
One thing's for serious. How long did it take for Kurt to make an ass of himself after your video?
From what I understand, after the video, the first part went up, he immediately said, I'm going off Twitter. Before that, he had said that some alt-right lunatic was coming after him. And then once the second video went up, he went on a tweeting spree of like 100 tweets freaking out. And now we are where we are today. So I don't know. But yeah, the J curve really holds up pretty well.
I understand that the Diversity in Comics made a tweet saying people should not send him messages to send him into a strobe, and it's not a dog whistle. And he interpreted that as a dog whistle.
I don't understand what Kurt's mindset is when it comes to interacting with people on social media. I do find it funny, though, that this is somebody who is talking to district attorneys in Texas or talking to the FBI, when I'm fairly certain it's illegal to post the social security numbers of lawmakers on social media, and then to also talk about them in a way that's alluding to physical violence like gunfights and bazookas, or
What
talking
was
about their
that?
children.
What was that? I heard that on your video, and it wasn't clear to me. Who was this politician, and why did he do that?
From what I understand, the backstory to that is people were pushing for, I think, anti-gun legislation or some changes to the gun codes in the state. The main people that were the driving force behind it, this politician said, hey, you should call them up and say you don't agree with this. So Kurt saw that and said, you can't dox people. You can't put their phone numbers up. I know how I'll teach you a lesson. I'm going to find out where your children live, where your wife is, who your neighbors are, and then I'm going to post your social security number. So that's amazing to me. I don't think any of us sitting in this call right now or anybody listening could post the social security number of a lawmaker and not be immediately thrown off of Twitter for doing it.
Yeah, I think worse than that. I think in some cases Secret Service might get involved. I mean, that's pretty out there.
You'd imagine, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I remember. I remember during Gamergate there was this SJW who doxed someone that actually worked for the Secret Service, and they considered it to be a national risk, so they arrested the guy. Do you remember that, Jim?
No, there was so much weird stuff going on at the time. I mean, it was kind of like a back and forth. You had two different opposing sides, but then you had like a third group that was just there to throw Molotovs and have laughs. So you could never really tell where something was coming from. But there were some pretty crazy stories. But I think the remarkable thing here is this isn't just internet people doing this. This is a award-winning journalist, somebody with 2 decades worth of experience doing investigative journalism, who's won, I think, 3 or 4 awards for it and been recognized by his peers, doxing a lawmaker and posting his social security number. It's mind-blowing to me.
Well, and harassing my friend, a comic book fan and critic. And basically, by the way, I didn't send you this little exchange that I had with Kurt before, but basically what he did was he admitted to me that he didn't just stumble upon the fight between Rebel Woman and Diversity in Comics. He's a fan, and he's a big fan of Diversity in Comics. And so, he basically cooked up this scheme that he would kind of interrupt this one little moment here, stand with Diversity in Comics against the SJWs, and then in return for that, Diversity in Comics was supposed to produce a series of videos, just a series of videos that would basically exonerate Kurt over the child pornography allegations. That's what he expected to happen.
That's amazing on its own. In the first part when I was talking about the Justin Berry case, The thing that stuck out to me most, and that's why I focused on it most, was the notion that Kurt had been paying money to a source for a story. You know, you had 2 payments that were made under different names through different means that were obfuscated. You know, they were hidden from the editor, from you know, from the outlet itself, from the readers, that eventually came out in court. And it's still stunning to me that Ingracio or somebody else at the New York Times didn't go back and look again at the email that was sent from one of the convicted pedophiles involved in this, from their mother, saying that Kurt had sent, you know, several $1,000s through another method entirely, through FedEx, which I'm not 100% what that means, but does that mean there's a tracking number? You know, is there a record of it? Are there bank statements of it? Nobody looked into that, really.
That's spooky.
Well, yeah, it is spooky. And, you know, it kind of casts a cloud of doubt around the investigation itself. I mean, here's a guy who said he met this kid, gave him a small business loan before he decided to do a story, which is bizarre enough on its own. And then, you know, lo and behold, the website kicks up again. You know, one of the other pedophiles that was convicted claims that the site was hosting child porn after, you know, this influx of money. And now he's got something to write about. But oh no, it was only $2,000. Then it was $3,100. But don't listen to Mitchell's mother. There wasn't another couple $1,000s. So just really shady, weird stuff.
Is it possible that an innocent man was sent to jail over this shit?
Oh no, I'm sure they're guilty as sin. Don't get me wrong. I don't think any of these people involved in this, you know, Mitchell or the others, are innocent in any way. But what I'm curious about, and I'm not making any allegations here, I'm just asking questions. Yeah, I'm going to Glenn Beck this to protect myself. But what I'm curious about is, did the money facilitate the story? Did giving that money to Justin Berry and his associates, because that PayPal account was shared, did that provide the impetus for them to restart the business, to rehost child porn, allowing Kurt now to have a better story and to get convictions? So, you know, I don't know what's going on there, but I really wish somebody would have followed it up more. The only outlet that really was asking those sorts of questions was NPR. You know, they're the ones that really called it out. Nobody else really focused on that specifically.
You know, I just like, my favorite thing about this is the strobe situation. It just seems like one of those like Batman moves where you just throw a smoke bomb and run away. Like literally, that's what it is. You know, because I mean, he's doing it again right now. Even though your video came out and you utilized a little bit of a conversation that I had with Kurt in private, Kurt came to me basically and said, I want to talk to you because Zach is ignoring me. Like, Diversity Comics is not responding to my threats of a lawsuit lest he make this series of videos. He came to me and tried to get me to kind of talk to him on behalf. And I was like, well, look, I know him, and it's like, if you sue him like maliciously, it's going to be dangerous for him. It'll cost money, even if it's a frivolous lawsuit. Money he doesn't have. He's a single dad. So I was just like, just knock it off. You know, just don't play with this guy. He doesn't need this. And he basically tried to get me to go to him and just, I don't know, convince him to make videos about him. And Zach, to his credit, wasn't having any of this.
Well, good.
But
I'm glad he stood his ground on that.
He was so cool. He was just like, I said, okay, so all I have to do you want me to call, you know, this guy on? I mean, this is the kind of bully mentality that we're dealing with here. Hey, we're just YouTubers. I mean, we're just, you know, I'm a comic book artist. He's a YouTuber. We don't have Vanity Fair money. And it's like a lawsuit like that would really cripple somebody like him. I mean, you know, frivolously. So would you want me to like call Kurt on your behalf, and I'll listen to whatever he has to say, relay it to you, and then it'll be over with, which is what Kurt wanted us to do. He wanted me to just he wanted to yell at me and then have me relay that to Diversity in Comics. And he just said no. It was like, he said no like 3 times. I don't understand,
and it's really weird in his story. If you have a medical condition that makes you foam at the mouth and fall on the ground while your wife angrily types at the twatter that you gave her husband a stroke, why is he on the Twitter? Why is he still on the computer clicking links?
Well, you know, a better question, V, would be that you can turn off autoplay on media within the settings on Twitter. And so I'm sure Kurt, having a seizure condition, is well aware of that, meaning that if somebody sent you a strobing GIF, you'd have to click play to make it play.
Maybe he clicks every single one to make sure that it is not a strobing GIF. How can he see people?
Yeah, but when the actual image itself says you deserve a seizure, and
so
it's
why
saying
would you click it?
To play me, yeah, why would you click that? What would compel you to click that particular image?
To tell if it's a troll or an online terrorist, man.
There's a lot of weird stuff. I mean, even with the conversation you had with him talking about, oh well, you call me and then I'll talk to him and then he'll do a video and then everything's copacetic. I don't think that's going to look good in court for him. I mean, you put that in front of a judge or a jury and they're going to look at it and it looks like he's trying to strong arm people with threats of litigation to do what he wants. So it's just really bizarre.
That is exactly what it is. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
The thing with diversity in comics, it's like, I don't want you to tell people that I'm threatening to sue you. What I want you to do is to make this and say that I'm innocent. And after you make the video, I will show you my innocence, but not before then.
That didn't make any sense to me either. It was like, I'll show you.
I think soldiers are honest and have honor, so you will trust me on this one. I'm innocent. You make.
Well, I don't even know what he said. I don't even know what Diversity in Comics said that would even be lawsuit worthy. Because I listened to the video and the segments that basically upset Kurt, and everything that he said was echoed by news stories. So it's not like he's forming an opinion out of a malicious intent. This is stuff that was reported in NPR and Gawker and Huffington Post. I mean, Truth Revolt. So, I mean, you've got news outlets from both the left and the right wing, all saying kind of the same thing. There's some weird stuff about this. There's some inconsistencies about this. There's some doubts related to how he pursued the story. So, holding the opinion that there might be something weird about Kurt Eichenwald is not, not that hard to believe, especially if you read any news outlet that's ever reported on it.
And it's not something that nobody's ever heard before either. That's the first thing that you think, unfortunately, when you hear that name now. And it's his own fault. I mean, it's his own fault.
Well, even an Associated WikiLeaks Twitter account tweeted out that a story from an outlet saying that Kurt Eichenwald was the administrator of the child porn site. So
now, that wasn't in your video.
No, that was.
Was that in your video?
Yeah, second video, yeah.
Oh.
Second video, like around the 3 or 4 minute mark. Yeah, it had 7,000 retweets. So again, those kind of allegations and thoughts are already in the public discourse. I mean, they've already spread, they've proliferated because people are interested in talking about them. So it's not something that, that Diversity in Comics pulled out of his ass. It's something that's been out there for over a year in that regard.
Okay, well,
Kurt invented a technique, which is the reverse of damage control, which is damage amplify. And every time he gets in a pickle, he amplifies the damage by talking about the situation further.
Well, I mean, Kurt has very convenient excuses for when things go wrong. One great example is the Tucker Carlson clip. I mean, here he is on Tucker's show talking about secret messages from the CIA. And every time Tucker tries to pin him down on something, Kurt pulls out this giant, enormous white binder. It must have been about 11 inches thick that said Tucker Carlson's falsehoods. And he said he had all these documented cases of Tucker Carlson lying. Yet when the show concluded and he went on social media and people were making fun of him, he said, "Oh, I'll tell you what the message from the CIA was." And then the next message was, "Oops, I forgot to write it down." So here's a guy that's known for being meticulous, right? For detail oriented. I mean, that's one of the things that some of his peers and people that worked at the New York Times had as a criticism for Kurt when he talked about memory issues in regards to those payments to Justin Berry. Is they said, how can a guy that wrote pieces on stuff like Enron, that was just massive articles, massive investigations, how can somebody who did that suddenly forget about these payments? How could Kurt go on to national television, say something that he has a message from the CIA, and then forget that he wrote that down? It's ridiculous.
But my favorite, he's not really good at lying, is he? I mean, he is a pathological liar. You need to give him props for trying. But the fact that he keeps lying is what makes it worse. Like, people find out that he has a link to hentai. And it's like, who fucking cares? Like, yeah, I watch porn. And that's the end of it. But he has to say that it was to show it to his wife and kids.
That's
that's amazing.
Odd situation. Well, I wanted to look. I've heard from Kurt today, and I think that's why we're kind of live streaming. He's been DMing me all night long. I assume, I was just saying earlier that it's like throwing a smoke bomb. He'll kind of throw something out there, and I think this relates directly to Metokur's new video series. They're two great videos. If you haven't watched them yet, you really should. They're called Internet Insanity, Kurt Eichenwald. So Kurt must have seen these, and his new thing is this. He sent this to me. And by the way, at this point, Kurt, it should be pretty clear to Kurt that, like, you know, when he sends me these messages, these weird threatening messages, I do show them to people because it's just like, I'm not going to hide your little threats like between us. These are threatening messages. People should know about them. And that's why I really respect the journalistic work that you're doing, Jim. I think that you're doing a lot for the community by bringing this out into the open. So I appreciate you. And it was really thoroughly investigated. But anyway, tonight I got a message from him that said this. It said, between us.
Hold on. Want me to share it on my screen so that people can?
Yeah. I'll read it while you share it. Okay.
Yeah, just give me the link so I can.
Give me. Wait. I don't
know. Just yeah.
Wait.
Just
do you have it?
it?
I can't. I. Okay. Wait a second.
Screenshot it and I will share it.
I think I already sent it to you. Hold on a second.
For $2, has Eichenwald had another seizure yet?
All right, is this it?
Jim, any chance of a Rumble Woman video?
No, I've already got stuff planned that's coming up. I mean, I'm going to be doing one on, I think it's Wings of Redemption. And then possibly, you know, like an addendum piece to that guy with the glasses because of what's going on there. And then I've got the school shooter one. I've got way too much on my plate to start stacking more on. People will complain endlessly because I'm way behind.
So I take it you're not going to make any video with the March for Our Lives clusterfuck?
No. I mean, I had a bit of a laugh, you know, saying that the girl that puked on stage was a result of the event being sponsored by Arby's, but that's about it.
Oh, my favorite part is the girl with the Make-A-Wish Foundation haircut, which is a lesbian, and she is trying to take the guns away from people, and she's coming from a country where they took the guns away from gay people and before the government killed them. And she even has like the Cuban flag on her jacket. So I just find it adorable that a lesbian woman is having the Cuban flag.
Did you get the screenshot?
No. Oh, never mind. It came up.
Okay.
Right. So hold on while
I had all this momentum, Jim, and he totally dragged it to a halt. Did you notice that?
Yeah, my bad. Right. So go on. I'll share it on the screen.
Okay. So here's what it says. I got this message out of the blue, and it said, between us, your spelled you-are, friend, really stepped in it. He worked with some guy putting together videos that have been inspiring people to launch strobe attacks against me to cause epileptic seizures. All of them are now in the hands of the FBI case agent and the Dallas district attorney. Don't tell DNC because I'm convinced he's crazy and will post everything, thus setting off more strobe attacks.
Just stop watching the internet, you twat.
But if it ends up he is directly involved, he's going to jail. I will never understand how people can be so stupid as to keep repeating the act that has already gotten one guy indicted by the feds and the state of Texas in 2 different criminal cases.
I like the drama voice you put.
Yeah, I'm really good at like reading, dramatic reading, so I hope you enjoyed that.
Well, I like too that he put the FBI part in there when the case from the feds was dropped. It's just the state charges now. There are no federal charges against the guy that gifted him.
Well, in any case, it's very, very serious. So I said in response, I said, I don't understand how people can continue repeating the same mistake that bites them in the ass over and over again, seemingly in agreement. And you don't have this, but can I continue to read, V?
Yeah, go.
Okay, everyone close your eyes and imagine that you're seeing these DMs. They are real. So he said, it's not a mistake. It's an intentional act to harm.
Sorry.
V.
I'm dying.
This is very serious, V. All right. The strobes say, quote, you deserve a seizure for your posts, unquote. This shit was done to everyone who went to the Epilepsy Support Board for Emotional Help in 2008. That's why every E in every is capitalized. Every one of these bastards is going to be tracked down, crucified. Which I thought was something to say the day after Easter. But listen, when I tell you that that the E in everything is capitalized, it's because like the Zodiac Killer, I like little mistakes like that might have some kind of significance. Jim, am I wrong or right?
Do you think this is the modern day equivalent of cutting letters from newspapers and gluing them together on a piece of paper?
Well, what do I know? I didn't ask for these messages, you know. I'm on the receiving end of them, and I'm just as baffled as you are. I didn't even know who he was talking about. At first I thought he meant, you know, Jim, and then you know, it became clear that it was DNC. Now, I have to say, you know, for those of you listening, DNC, otherwise known as Zach, could not care less about any of this. Like he couldn't, like honestly, he couldn't care less about any of this, nor could I. So this whole drama here was created by Kurt Eichenwald and inflicted on Zach and by proxy me. So I basically just said, he said everyone is going to be tracked down and crucified. I just said, get him. So he said, hopefully M, and that's EM, like apostrophe EM, won't be DNC. But he and his buddy did. Jim, you are his buddy, by the way.
Oh, it's good to know. Am I invited to sleepovers now? Is that how that works? We BFFs now? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pass that along.
Do you have matching pajamas?
Oh, we will. We will after this. It'll be prison stripes, but they'll match.
You know, I'm really curious. Like, do you think the FBI is going to get me from Romania?
The FBI. Here's the honest reality of this. If he really sent this into the FBI, they're going to look at it for maybe 10 minutes and then not care. And that's the same with the Texas District Attorney. There's nothing here. There's nothing actionable about making fun of an idiot on the internet. And unless he can show that GIFs, flashing images came directly from DNC, from me, from you, they're not going to care. They're going to think he's insane. They're going to put it in the Nutter file with all the other people talking about like fucking chemtrails and aliens and shit.
Well, he is talking about someone that got convicted over this shit.
He's talking about Jew Goldenstein, which his real name is like Ravioli or Rivioli or something like that, which was the dude that sent him the GIF. And he made a big fuss about that. And, you know, Texas charged him and the FBI charged, or the feds charged him. And then the federal charges were dropped. And the state charges in Texas are still listed as assault with a deadly weapon with hate crime enhancement, which I think is going to get laughed out of court. So who knows how that's going to turn out.
Well, the way the law works in Romania, if you know someone is suffering from epileptic seizures and, you know, you show him something that triggers his epilepsy.
Well, I just hope, I hope that if this goes to trial, this guy's defense attorney is able to subpoena Twitter records to see if the settings were set so that Kurt would have had to manually click on a fucking image that told him he was going to get a seizure from a flashing GIF.
Yeah, it's probably not how the trial is going to go, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to look ridiculous. So who knows?
I will say, I mean, to everyone listening, and Diversity in Comics did already tweet this out, but we need to make it clear, this is not a dog whistle. Please do not send.
Well, no, because that according to Kurt is a dog whistle. So how exactly would Kurt like us to to express our concern over people sending him this shit?
Well, we are concerned. We're deeply concerned about it.
I don't give. Well, personally, I don't give a flying fuck. I'm not responsible for other people's actions. Tough shit, Kurt. If bad things happen to you, it's not me doing it. Live with it.
I disavow. I disavow, Jim. I don't know.
I'm not. You know, a living incarnation of a net nanny. I'm not here to help Kurt live and cope with his life on fucking Twitter. He's a big boy. He can do it.
I am absolutely speechless, and this is happening on Autism Awareness Day. I'm just astonished.
Yeah, it's just astonishing, shocking.
Do you know what I noticed? Like I was watching your, and I tweeted about this. I was watching your videos, and as I was watching them, I just felt the urge to give Kurt a strobe, and I didn't know why that is, right? But I think you added some subliminal message shit into your videos. Luckily, I read Loki. So
I'm fairly certain they're not going to extradite you from Romania for making a shitty journalist piss himself on Twitter. So I think
I wouldn't be too sure.
Maybe I want to visit the U.S. and they'll send me to Guantanamo for sending, you know, terrorist memes with the intention to kill.
The FBI will probably meet you at the border and shake your hand and say thank you for your service, and then give you a free pass into the country.
All right, should I keep going? Should we want to hear more of this?
Yeah,
or no?
you're killing me, by the way. I don't know how Jim
Okay.
keeps a straight face, but
All right. So anyway, so hopefully M won't be DNC, but he and his buddy, that's Jim, did something to set off this new flurry of attacks. Now picture a snowstorm like a flurry of that's the consistency of the attacks that he's suffering because of something that perhaps DNC and his buddy did. So and given that law enforcement is crawling all over attacks on me, ... not smart. So I did want.
I imagine him in the middle, and if the FBI all around him trying to, keep away the strobes from happening.
Yeah, they're going to catch whoever is doing this. So I wanted to clarify. I said, "Who's his buddy?" And I said, "Look, come live stream with me and Zach, and let's work it out." Because I mean, really, my thing has always been, let's just talk this out. And maybe there's some hurt feelings and misunderstandings. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk it through. And anyway, so he answered, "Who is his buddy?" And he said, "Metokur?" ? Something like that. The strobers are referencing that name and DNC in their strobe. So Metokur, like Elvis's like 69 special with the big Elvis light behind him, that big display. Somebody is sending Kurt, apparently, evidently, allegedly, strobing gifts that say Metokur, like that.
Well, I think because Metokur is a Turkish word, this might be the work of foreign terrorists. Maybe have the FBI investigate that, Kurt, you fucking retard.
And then he said nothing to work out. So he is not interested in live streaming. He wasn't interested. I said, well,
What exactly could he say? I mean, if he was here, what do you think he would have added to the conversation? Because the problem is that people literally don't believe that he's having strobes. In case you didn't get it, Kurt.
Well, I told him, I reassured him and said, there are no strobes in a live chat. So why don't you come in here and let's get it down on, on video. And I said, I will enforce whatever boundaries you care to enforce. And I would. I definitely would.
Yeah, me too.
So he said...
turn off the super chats, by the way. If you would have...
I probably wouldn't, to be honest. I'd just be too busy laughing at him for an hour and a half.
But no amount of money is worth the laughter I would have had if Kurt would have come here.
He never would have come here because the first thing I would have talked about is that FedEx payment. And I wouldn't have taken the my memory bullshit. I would have fucking had our conversation about why did she say you sent that money? Was that money used for Justin and friends? Did you have administrator access to that site? That would have been a bad conversation.
He would have probably Tucker Carlsoned you and it would be like, oh, you're interrupting me, you're not letting me finish.
Yeah, that would work really well. I'm sure Kurt would have won the day with that technique.
Well, it's work on Tucker, but the problem with Tucker is that he has a limited amount of time.
Well, no, the problem with Tucker is he's on television, so he can't say, hey, fucking retard, shut the fuck up. I have a question for you. But you could tell he really wanted to during that conversation with Kurt.
All right, so the next tweet, or the next DM, he says, I don't think it's on his channel. So I don't think it's on your, I think Metokur's channel. I think he helped somebody that then set this off. So you assisted someone in Kurt's...
I'm an accessory to internet gifting? Is that what Kurt's accusation is?
That is what he's saying, and he is receiving direct messages that are making him seize up.
Is he like a preteen boy? Like, is this a LARP or something? He's crying about assisted internet gifting because people are making fun of him.
He has concerns. Oh,
does he? He has a few concerns, does he? I think the rest of the world has a few concerns about him.
He's like the male version of Brianna Wu. Honestly, like the only other person that came up with this ridiculous shit and expected people to believe it with a straight face was Brianna Wu. It's like when her dog was dying and she couldn't just leave Twitter alone. And then she said that it's because of the abuse that she's getting because her dog died. And she actually had a newspaper that was meant for animals and companionship write a sob story about, the misogynistic pieces of shit that made fun of a woman whose dog was dying. And it's almost the same thing. Like it was so blatant a lie, and now you have this gentleman over here who's like making lies and expecting people to believe them.
Well, I'm here to listen and believe. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I'm doing. I'm so glad I missed Gamergate. By the way, I had nothing to do about that. I had no idea that that was going on, and I feel glad of that fact.
Well, I missed Comicsgate. That's what pisses me off. I really wish Comicsgate would have kicked off a lot more, because you had actual people working at Marvel harassing a YouTuber, like stalking a small time YouTuber that had at the time 30,000 subscribers or something like that, 20,000, I don't know, and he had Marvel editors going after him and planning ways to punch him in the face and get the guy arrested. It was just I can't believe that it didn't kick off, honestly.
Well, it's still going. So, but he had more subscribers than they sold comics, and that was the problem. That's why he was literally. That's why I think he was.
So bad when you put it like that.
Oh, it's true.
We're talking about Marvel, right? Like we're not talking about a small time indie company. We're talking about like a comic book corporation that has superheroes that are famous even in Romania.
That's correct.
They can't sell more than 20,000 comics. That's just
apparently not. All right. So, anyway, so that's the interpretation of the FBI case agent to the messages sent to me with the strobes. I don't know what that means. DNC may just be an innocent who can't give up going at me, or crazy, but not my issue. Law enforcement will straighten it out. They have found whatever the video was that set this off. I'm not looking at it in case it has strobes. See, he learned.
So how does he know?
He learned.
So wait, is Kurt Eichenwald telling us that he made the FBI sit down and watch my internet insanity video on him? Because that is amazing. So. That's some good shit.
The FBI has kind of become his strobing gift food taster for internet videos. That's the service that the FBI is performing for Kurt.
The way he pictures it is like the FBI are his underlings, like they're his bitches.
Checking it for strobes.
Well, can somebody explain to me how it is the FBI is willing to waste time on something that's farcical like this, of some reporter getting angry about tweets on the internet, when, there have been 2 school shooters now that had information sent to the FBI before they ever did the massacre, and they decided not to investigate that. But Kurt Eichenwald, who's getting made fun of on the internet, is suddenly getting FBI preferential treatment. That's
how.
something.
Did the kids have the blue check mark on Twitter?
Is that what protects them? Is that that what draws in the FBI like honey?
Yeah, that is literally it. If you don't have the blue check mark, the FBI doesn't take you seriously.
That's alarming. That's an alarming allegation.
Do you know speaking of the FBI, do you know the Orlando shooter, right? Who did the second highest mass shooting in America in that Wall of Fame? Apparently, he wanted to purchase guns from a store, and the store owner didn't sell him and contacted the FBI. But the FBI said, it's just probably another case of Islamophobia. So again, the FBI doesn't. Yeah.
All right, well, they've got important things to do. I mean, Kurt Eichenwald needs protection on Twitter. They need the man hours for that.
It's the Britanization of America, because in Britain you have like 900 police officers that are.
God, can you imagine being the poor agent that had to sit down and watch a video about Kurt Eichenwald jacking off to tentacle porn because this idiot contacted them?
You probably found it amusing. You probably made the guy's day, man.
He's probably like, what am I doing with my life? I should have become CIA instead. Like, how the fuck did I find myself sitting at headquarters watching some washed up journalist whacking off to tentacle porn?
I think you got a subscriber. Listen, if you're an FBI agent, right, that's listening to this, contact Jim and tell him if you subscribed or not. Get your thumbs up or thumbs down the video.
I think he's got the CIA too, though, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any respite.
No, he must have the CIA, because now he probably wants to go after me. He's going to send the paramilitary team in order to get me from Romania.
Oh my gosh, this is just getting more and more crazy. So we should straighten this out. He said, so this is all out of my hands. If all they did was make fun of me, and mention the strobes, probably not a problem. Probably
is not sure.
If they encouraged people to do it or gave them instructions on how to do it, I would not want to be them. So I said, me either, and I'm not. So come on and talk to us. And he said, I don't think I should talk about it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he inspired people to attack me or encouraged them to do it. I don't know if he is sane with a capital S or crazy with a lowercase c. And I don't want to step into something that might disrupt the criminal case that's already going on.
Okay, listen, if you have a premium account on Jim's channel, right? If you're on his Patreon and you opted for the premium version, there is a list of instructions on how to give strobes. Isn't that right,
Well,
Jim?
I can neither confirm nor deny this. I want the FBI to earn their paycheck. Now, did you see the screen cap from earlier from 4chan Spolvy?
No.
Somebody showed up in a thread talking about Kurt Eichenwald, screaming that there's no proof and that all these people are being
Hold
assholes.
on, I'll show it. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, because it's that last post that really is the award winner out of the whole string of this person's tirade. Just tell me once you. It's on my timeline. It's like
yeah,
3 or
but
4 days.
I'll need to give it to Ethan because he does the dramatic reading better than I do.
Well,
Oh no,
I
don't want to read it. It's the last portion that's I think relevant. So I'm gonna read that very last post because this is one he deleted in the middle of this long tirade. There has to be a logical reason why I would shut down instead of just going if I was in on it, right? So he mistyped. That's apparently Kurt Eichenwald on 4chan getting angry at people making fun of him and trying to pretend to be somebody else. And that's all archived.
Yeah, and from what I see, instead of editing, right? Because I don't think you can edit your post. He posted again, and then he replaced I with we, and you see like the message one above, one next to the other.
Yeah, he tried to be real slick about it. Like, oopsie, oops, I made a little boo boo there, but it's okay. He must have had a stroke and forgot.
All right, so that's the other thing. What is this? Is there such a thing as a seizure that could give you? And I don't know. I am not a doctor.
Wait, I have not heard about it. Like maybe it's like a very rare condition that I was asleep during med school when they were talking about it, but no, like
a seizure that would give you amnesia.
I would imagine that the kind of seizure he's talking about would be really, really short-term memory loss. I can't imagine. I mean, a seizure is not like a stroke, so I can't imagine you're having permanent brain damage. I don't know what would be impacting his memory that much.
Yeah, there's two types. Like there's different levels to seizures. You usually have like either a very light form where only one member is in the seizure, right? But you are conscious, and then you can have like the more severe case where you lose consciousness and stuff. But again, it's like, yeah, you lose the memory for the episode, but it's not like you lose memory for...
there you go. You got somebody in your chat, V. Yes, there is. It affects about 5% of epileptics. So there you are.
Okay, right.
I don't know if that person can tell us if that's short-term memory or long-term memory, because that's kind of important to Kurt's claims.
I don't think you would forget, sending someone money through a PayPal, especially if you have like a...
Well, even better. Let's say that he did forget. Let's say he had a seizure and it affected his memory. He still has a bank statement. He wouldn't wonder where $1,000 went to or $2,000 went to. He wouldn't check into that.
Oh my God.
I just seems improbable. So, V, as a doctor and anyone else who's listening in the chat, I mean, what other symptoms might come from a guy who has a condition?
Should have gone with Alzheimer, in my opinion.
Is it Alzheimer? He's not.
He should have gone with that. Well, I don't know. He looks old. He can be a special case. He can be a case study for future doctors, but it would have been a far better excuse than this. Brain damage is another example.
Wow. Yeah, he just seems like a spry, young man to me. He really does. He's interested.
Yeah, Kurt's not that old. I don't think it's Alzheimer's. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a seizure condition, and I'm not even saying that seizure condition doesn't affect his memory, but I don't believe that it's going to make him forget making multiple payments to somebody during a story. I just don't believe that, especially when your bank statements are going to show that money's missing in your account. Your wife, at the very least, is going to say, where did $3,100 go? What the fuck is going on?
By the way, the earliest case of Alzheimer's is 6 and 10 years old. So, you don't rule it out of the realm of possibility.
Now, V, they're going to scream how much of a fake doctor you are if you're telling people 6-year-olds get Alzheimer's.
Well, it's apparently I looked at the youngest case of Alzheimer, and there's this article that popped up.
Oh, there's an article that popped up. Was that what was the name of the website, V?
Daily Mail.
Okay, fuck off.
I don't know. I just I am worried if there are people out there. I know you guys are less worried. I am worried if there are people out there who are deliberately sending strobe gifts through his DMs to him. I think that's a very terrifying thing to have to go
No,
through.
listen, if you're a person that's actually suffering from this shit, you already know how to take precautions. It's like talking to a diabetes, that has been diabetic for 10 years and was taking insulin. It's like they already know the shit. They know the schedule. They know what they need to do. Yeah, they know what they need to eat and avoid. So it would be the same case in his situation, right? And the fact it's like, oh my god, so many people are sending me strobes, and I just can't help myself to click on every single link. It's just
Well, yeah,
absurd.
I mean, again, Twitter has settings in place to prevent just that by not autoplaying things. And you can also set your DMs to private. So I don't know how these people are mysteriously forcing him to look at seizure gifs. Like, I can't walk myself through what magical hacking technique they have to make him watch these, because it shouldn't be possible with, 2 seconds of going into your settings.
I still have the image in my brain with him on the floor, foaming at the mouth, and the wife coming in, ignoring him, and going to the computer. It's like, I know what you all did.
For your information, yeah, I just had to put his wallet under his tongue. Look, I feel like the better way to avoid all of this is just to turn your fucking computer off. If I had a seizure once because of something on Twitter, and I've come close, I've come close. I'll tell you that because you're a doctor, in confidence. I would stop using Twitter. I'd stop going on Twitter entirely.
Well,
what is he getting out of Twitter at this point?
I guess.
Well, does the man
job
work? I mean, he's not at Newsweek anymore. He's not at MSNBC anymore. Somebody said he doesn't even work at Vanity Fair anymore. So where is he writing exactly?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I wanted to say, though. Like, his job would require him to have a Twitter.
Yeah, but I don't think he's actually, I don't think he's contracting with anybody right now. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe he is, and I'm just not aware of it. But I'm fairly certain he's not writing for any of the outlets that he had previous work with.
Well, I'm sure that he might find a way to damage the reputation of the outlets that he.
I don't know. I mean, V, this guy tweets out some insane shit. I didn't get a chance to go over it all. Did you see the meteorologist tweets that he put out?
No.
Where he said he could predict storms and hurricanes?
No.
He said he had a special mathematical formula to predict weather before anybody else could do it.
Wait,
He did not.
What if this is
Yes, he
actually a legitimate case of a guy going crazy, like losing his marble?
I don't know what his deal is, but he spurgs out and just engages in the most ridiculous shit on the internet, and then he can't find a way to de-escalate it, so he comes out with absurd threats of lawsuits and getting the FBI involved and getting the police involved and talking about the CIA giving him secret messages. It's really bizarre. It's like either it's I mean, you could look at it and say maybe it's a mental illness or maybe he's LARPing. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what the guy's deal is.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I'm all for laughing at people who aren't mentally disabled because, they can always stop. Yeah, I would feel bad laughing at a person that actually legitimately has a mental illness.
Well, I mean, this guy was, if he is mentally ill, he has gone an awful long time. He's had an awful long career at Vanity Fair and at the New York Times.
Well,
and
it's
where
the
else?
dark age of Kurt, Yeah, anything could have happened.
Nobody noticed.
Well, yeah, I mean, see, that's me trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because if it's not a possibility that this guy has a mental illness, or there's something physical going wrong with him, then that really leaves the only alternative is he's just an asshole, a lying asshole. So, I mean, pick your poison, really.
That's something I hadn't considered, honestly.
So, Jim, if you were Kurt, what would you do at this moment if you wanted this shitstorm to go away?
I would close my Twitter account, and then I'd go get work. That would be my suggestion. Stop tweeting and go get a fucking job, Kurt. That's probably the best solution for you at the moment.
I never understand these people who can't leave Twitter alone. Like,
Twitter's boring, man. YouTube's where it's at. I swear to God. YouTube is the best. I don't know why people tweet at all anymore.
So,
hostile territory.
There's this gentleman who gave me a substantial donation, more than I ever received. Happy birthday, V. Thank you. Since it's your birthday and Metokur is here, can you please look up Nico Nico Ni and please recite the said title correctly? You're welcome, Jim. Nico Nico Ni, what?
He's asking you to do that because it's your birthday.
Yeah, so Nico Nico Ni, is this what he wants me to say? Ah!
Don't screen share this while you do it.
Somebody in the chat points out that ethical CP is ethical. So that's, you know, that's good.
V, are you doing okay?
What is going on with V? Did somebody send V a strobe? Are you okay?
I'm foaming at the mouth.
All right, very good. All right, so that's it. I just wanted to say, let you guys know what was up and about all this, and just update you. Considering that the second part of the Kurt Eichenwald Internet Insanity video is up right now on Mr. Metokur's YouTube site. It really is a substantial and informative video. I think it says a lot about our times. I was happy to contribute to it in some way, and thank you for allowing me to do that, Jim. It was really a pleasure.
I have just one question before you leave. Did he upset the comic book industry in any way? Because the thing is, like, he seemed to support diversity in comics, but then diversity in comics threw him under the bus. Is the chain of events correctly? Like,
people, yeah, that is correct. People really just didn't know what to do. Everyone thought it was funny. I mean, I don't think there was one person who wasn't amused or interested in what was going on, because if you are in the comic book industry, you are not, you know, on the far left, you know, you kind of like diversity in comics, but everyone else really despises him. And so to see this guy show up as an ally and then have diversity in comics turn on him was really quite a great monkey show, I think, for everyone. I think everyone kind of enjoyed it. Yeah,
well, I know I certainly did. I found it very entertaining.
What made you go after him, Jim? Like, you had so many targets. What?
It was when he started posting social security numbers. Like that to me is really amazing that he could do it and get away with it, and nothing happened to him for it. Like he's able to do that. Nobody else could. Really,
Isn't
nobody
that
else
illegal,
could.
by the way?
I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah.
So it's up to the lawyer guy to press charges.
Well, even if it's not illegal, I'm almost 100% certain it's against terms of service. Like I'm fairly certain they say that if it's publicly available information, it's fine. But I know a social security number isn't. So that means he used connections to get that information.
Oh, there's something he could, that might work in his defense. I think YouTube and Twitter has the same thing. Like, if you delete it before they take action, they don't punish you for it.
I really don't know. I don't think that would fly with any of us if we did that. Even if we deleted it, we'd be gone.
Yeah, it would probably be a shitstorm. But the thing is, there was this video of mine as well, where I was streaming with a comic book artist from DC, and his kid, butt naked, walks into the stream right as we're talking on camera. Right, so I immediately shut the stream down. I immediately deleted it, and I know there were people who reported me, and I also contacted YouTube, and they said, "Well, if you deleted it, then it should."
Well, yeah, but I mean, V, this is apples and oranges. I mean, you're talking about somebody whose little kid walks in a room. It's not like you had control over that. This is Kurt Eichenwald intentionally doing this, and then bragging about it in the media, bragging that he can do that, and you know, nothing will happen to him.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
Well, I think Kurt is kind of the guy who just kind of announces things that he finds wrong with the world, and then he just proceeds to do them himself.
Oh yeah, the one with the kids, that was funny. Yeah,
it's very, very strange. But yeah. So anyway, Kurt has been fun. We don't want Kurt to get hurt. We don't want anyone to send him any strobes. But I do think it's important to inform people of what his concerns are. So I thank both of you for letting me use this live stream to do so. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem. You know, talking about Kurt is always entertaining.
Yeah, we should do it again, Eva.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, everyone, if you haven't checked out the video, go check it now. So thank you very much.
I'll
right.
just read the super chats and then I'll close the stream.
Okay.
So from TK Mouth, don't trust the chat. He's lurking in here incognito. You know, I bet he is. I bet he can't help himself. If someone is talking about him somewhere, he has to listen. Any
wait, V, are you sure you should read off the super chats? I mean, Kurt might find out that that's all financed through Coach via Coach coins, and then the conspiracy will be brought to light. I don't know if we should let Kurt know that. Maybe you shouldn't read out the super chats.
I hope I don't read off a colorful super chat.
Oh boy,
that would give him a problem. Me and the Browndo army was instructed by Metokur to flurry Kurt with gifts. Don't try to deny it, Joe. They're on to you, man.
Oh boy.
And you're under FBI investigation. Whew. It's getting hot in here, man. Hi, Sergeant Block, you crazy bastard. That fucking moment when V realizes this is what he looked like a month ago. That is part of getting older, yeah. Zach just started streaming. Did he now? Son of a bitch.
He said he was going to do that. He said, like, first of all, Diversity in Comics was going to be a part of this. We got him almost here, but he really hates streaming with other people. He needs to be the sole voice in the room.
I think he hates streaming with you, mate, because he likes streaming with me.
He streamed with me twice as many times as he streamed with you, pal. Like, he's twice with me and once with you.
Well, once too many, I guess.
Yes, that is true, though. But yeah, so he couldn't be in here, and yeah, he is streaming on his own right now.
How do we get Eichenwald on the Kumate? Pay him.
Dude,
no, actually, I'm fairly certain Failure said that's never going to happen. They're never going to let him on.
Why?
Really?
Because he's too litigious. They don't want him to try to use it as some excuse to sue them.
Jesus.
You're so right.
That's what I was told. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinformed. That somebody told me Failure said that's never going to happen.
Dude, they're paying Mundane Matt $1.3 thousand to cover the Kumate.
Yeah, I don't know why Matt's not jumping at that. I mean, he wouldn't have to worry about ad blocks for like a month.
Yeah, you can turn on the pesky ad block for once. Think of how many red pills he can buy. Kurt is so skeevy, no one wants him on his side. Maybe this is a point. Like, Diversity of Comics was like, why is this guy like, no? Jim is a good boy. He didn't do nothing.
That's right. That's right. I just need money for them programs. I'm a good boy.
Our strobe attacks alien tentacle hentai. I hope no one sends him tentacle porn with strobe attached. That is a good point. Why the fuck did he choose tentacle?
Yeah, it wasn't in the tags, so I don't know why he pulled that out. Like, there are no tentacles involved in the hentai he was looking at.
Maybe the guy forgot to tag the tentacle, you know?
No. I don't know why Kurt pulled that out. He thought that was less embarrassing than, I don't know, fart huffing. Like, I don't know what exactly the issue there was.
Oh my god. Happy birthday, V. Okay, I read this one. Kick V birthday edition. I'm the #1 Mr. Metokur fan. I am bisexual. It's written with a C. Jim, you're a good boy. Has Eichenwald had another seizure yet?
Oh, you read that one.
Yeah. I think I read all of them then.
No, you missed.
You missed a few.
Okay. Hey, it's my favorite alt-right Nazi, Ethan Van Shriver on V's show. This is Kurt's wife. This is the best one yet. This is Kurt's wife. Hope you're happy. He has knee dip in a CP binge as we speak. I'll be cleaning up epileptic splodge all week. P.S. I want my 5 shekels back. Well, no, they're mine now. I'll spend it on drugs. Don't let V lie to you. He's only interested in your rabbit ear. Okay, this is from another stream, so let's see if I got any new ones in the meantime. Happy birthday, my sweet Romanian prince. Jesus Christ. Thank you, man. I used to be friends with Jordan Haas. What the fuck is wrong with him nowadays? I would say just stream against him, but I know he's too much of a bitch.
Yeah, Jordan had what you'd call a severe case of trolls remorse. and kind of switched to the more SJW side of the internet. Him and Haberman did.
Hmm.
He basically he streams 3-hour-long bingo games by himself on like Twitch that nobody watches.
Does he win?
Yeah, no, he really, honest to God, he does. And if you show up in the chat and make a joke, he will look at the camera and say, "Hi, Jim." So he expects that it's me if you fuck with him on Twitch.
Oh my god. He seems to have done a good job distracting everyone from his child ring, having everyone talk about health and CIA. So I guess it's not crazy. Well, if you put it like that.
That's the one that I wanted you to read. That's my whole theory, is that smoke grenades. I mean, that's everything is a smoke grenade against that one issue.
Yeah, but he's already not working for the New York Times, and it's just that publication that had the problem with it.
No, it's society that has a problem with it, Vay. What are you talking about?
Okay, so if I pay a guy to activate his website so he can catch pedophiles, I mean, I can see the moral gray area, but at the end of the day, you do have pedophiles in jail.
Why do you want to get involved in that? Why would you want?
I mean, the issue here is, well, there are multiple issues, but I mean, you're talking about a reporter going from being a neutral party reporting on the news to an activist making news.
Yeah, but all reporters today are activists, so
they shouldn't be.
I know they shouldn't. Yeah, but the reality is, it's not the world we want to be in.
And also, I mean, if you raise the question of the impropriety of paying somebody to facilitate a crime to write a story on it, where do you draw the line? I mean, could a reporter say, well, I paid the hitman $5,000 to go kill that guy so I could write a story about murder, but at least a murderer's in jail?
Oh my God. You know, like, I used to have your naivete, but nowadays, after spending 3 years of just reading news articles, you can tell me a story and I can probably find you a guy who did exactly that.
Well, you're reading the Daily Mail that tells you 6-year-olds have Alzheimer's, so of course you fucking could.
Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, chat, for listening and tuning in.
Yeah, I had a good time. You guys take it easy. I was going to say birthday. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Happy birthday, V.
Thank you.
All right, I'm out of here. Take it easy. Nice talking to you guys.
Okay.
You too. Bye.